If you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, then come with me as we take a trip in our DeLorean back to the future. Big shout out over to Slavan is our GOAT, the least obvious Carolina Hurricanes fan, going out there and posting this on Twitter, which I stumbled upon on my timeline. What this list is a number of Montreal Canadiens players and their NHL elite comparisons. This user says, take a look at this. It's the least delusional Habs fan. And what I wanted to do was dive into this list, talk about the names that these current Canadiens guys are compared to, and ask whether or not they actually make sense. So, without further ado, big shout out over to Habs Infinity, it seems like, the guy who posted this, as well as Slavan is our GOAT for putting it onto my timeline here. Let's take a look at these prime projections for the future Canadiens core and their NHL comparisons. Number 1, Nick Suzuki is compared to Patrice Bergeron. Number 2, Cole Caufield is compared to David Pastrnak. Number 3, Juraj Slafkovsky is compared to Mikko Rantanen. And then you have number 4, Ivan Demidov compared to Nikita Kucherov. Number 5, Michael Hages is compared to Bo Horvat. And number 6, Alexander Zhuravsky is compared to Andrei Svechnikov. Number 7, Lane Hutson is compared to Quinn Hughes. Number 8, David Reinbacher is compared to Colton Parayko. Number 9, Caden Gooley is compared to Matthias Ekholm. And number 10, you have Noah Dobson compared to John Carlson. Now, you do have the elite line projections over here. Pastrnak, Bergeron, Rantanen, Svechnikov, Horvat, Kucherov, Hughes, Parayko, Ekholm, Carlson. Obviously, this is based off of what the Canadiens lines would be in real life. The idea of having Kucherov on any second line seems like treason, if you were to ask me. But Cole Caufield, Nick Suzuki, Juraj Slafkovsky is the first projected line, and then the second line is Alexander Zhuravsky, Michael Hages, and Ivan Demidov. Lane Hutson with David Reinbacher, Caden Gooley with Noah Dobson. Now, obviously this poster is going out there and saying that, this is a delusional Habs fan going out there and talking about the delusional comparisons of saying that Alexander Zhuravsky is going to be Andrei Svechnikov. And if I'm going to be real, a lot of these names are not that bad. Yes, of course, you can look at Nick Suzuki and say, how can you compare this guy to literally the best defensive center the NHL had ever seen in Patrice Bergeron? How can you literally go out there and take a guy that ended up winning? I was signed out of Elite Prospects. That's unfortunate. But you have 6 Selke trophies for Patrice Bergeron. This guy won that gosh darn best defensive player up front 6 times. Nick Suzuki hasn't won it once. Although, to be fair, if you can project the future this year, you could very well say that Nick Suzuki might actually win it in 2026. He's been that good for the Montreal Canadiens, and he has the point production to back it up. On pace for 100, baby. Patrice Bergeron, unfortunately, never did that. Although, if we are being realistic here, back in this era of the NHL, you would only see maybe one player get to 100 points every year. And then some years, like the Jamie Benn Art Ross year, you would see literally none. Nowadays, everybody and their mother is getting 100 points, and Nick Suzuki is part of that conversation. So, yeah, obviously, he is comparing very well to one of the best defensive centers of all time. Cole Caufield being compared to David Pastrnak is not even a hot take anymore. The guy is a 50-goal scorer. He is one of the best goal scorers in the league. David Pastrnak has that wicked shot. Cole Caufield has that wicked shot. They can do some damage on that Ovechkin spot. And Cole Caufield, I'm sorry, it was inevitable that this was going to be the path that he takes, considering the incredible production he had with the NTDP, setting the goal record over there, doing all the things he had done in college, and then becoming a consistent goal scorer ever since stepping foot into the National Hockey League in the playoffs and otherwise. Now, he's a 50-goal scorer. So, obviously, I'd say Pastrnak is a more than fair comparison at this point. Slafkovsky compared to Rantanen, I'ma say it, man. This is the comparison that I've been bringing up throughout the course of Slafkovsky's development in the National Hockey League as well. An elite, powerful winger that can just snipe it from everywhere and who can make some really nice plays happen. Slafkovsky, the fact that this guy is producing at just under a point per game this season, he's on pace, man. He's only 22. If you compare Juraj Slafkovsky to Mikko Rantanen, this is where you compare the progression from season to season to season. Juraj Slafkovsky, in his age 21 year, is on pace for 74 points in 82 games. Mikko Rantanen had 84 points in 81 games. Okay, so Rantanen did explode in 2017-2018. He exploded quickly. Juraj Slafkovsky, not there yet, but you can very well say it's a possibility. Ivan Demidov, Nikita Kucherov, yeah, I'm not even gonna have time to think about this not being a realistic comparable. Not to say that Demidov is gonna consistently get 140 points every single year, but when his agent's going out there and saying that he doesn't know who has more hockey sense between Demidov and Kucherov, I think it's a pretty reasonable thought to have that this guy is going to pan out to being one of the best offensively minded wingers in the National Hockey League. I mean, on pace for 60-something points in his rookie year at 20 years old, there's a lot to love out of Ivan Demidov. And the Nikita Kucherov comparisons, I'm all here for it, man. Let's keep him coming. Now, this is where things start to get a little bit wonky. I'd say that Michael Hage comparing to Bo Horvat, that's a big stretch for a guy who is just in college right now. Alexander Zhuravsky compared to Andrei Svechnikov, that's also a pretty big one. I mean, Svechnikov was a second overall pick all the way back in the day. And to be fair, I'm not going to say that Svechnikov has been playing like that second overall pick this entire time he has been in the National Hockey League. This year he is on pace for a career year, so there's that, I guess. 70 points obviously took him a while to get there. But Alexander Zhuravsky was a second rounder just last year, so comparing him to a second overall pick, obviously that's a pretty tall task. I mean, ceiling-wise, you can say that Zhuravsky maybe has a 60 to 70 point per season ceiling, which I guess is very similar to what Andrei Svechnikov has been able to accomplish. But I will say, stylistically, Zhuravsky plays a lot more like Demidov than he does Svechnikov. He's not everywhere. He isn't a Michigan scoring fiend. He just kind of sets up, he makes his plays. Svechnikov, I feel like, is more direct in the way that he attacks the game. And then you talk about some of the defense comparisons over here. Lane Hudson to Quinn Hughes, yeah, I have time for that. I've been saying that ever since the guy made the NHL that he plays like Quinn Hughes. David Reinbacher and Colton Parayko is a take, though. I get that Parayko was a little bit of a late bloomer. He was drafted in 2012 and didn't make the National Hockey League until 2015-16, but Parayko started out as a 30-point defenseman in the league who was big, who could block shots, who could do everything you need a brick wall to do. Reinbacher, he isn't even in the NHL yet. He is still developing. He is still getting better. He is still trying to work his way through injuries. And while he does look pretty all right this season, I do think that there's a long, long path to go before David Reinbacher finds himself in the same conversation as Colton Parayko. So maybe as a ceiling, an elite top-tier comparison, yeah, okay, I can see it. But it's not likely in the same way that I think Slafkovsky Rantanen is more likely, or Caufield Pastrnak. Caden Gooley, Matthias Ekholm, I actually don't have a problem with that. Noah Dobson, John Carlson, now that's a really big one as well. I mean, John Carlson has been a very good offensive defenseman, and I do think that Dobson playing with Caufield and Suzuki and Slafkovsky inevitably will help his numbers grow. But you gotta remember, John Carlson was playing with Ovechkin the entire time. You didn't have Lane Hudson at the top of the lineup stealing away minutes from Carlson. So at the bottom here, I can say maybe stylistically it makes sense, but I don't know if Dobson has the same upper point limit capacity that Carlson once had. Gooley Ekholm, though, I actually do like that. So with that said, I don't think that this is that delusional. Other than saying that Zhuravsky is Svechnikov level or that Michael Hage has a Bo Horvat ceiling, I do think that a lot of these are more likely than unlikely. But what do you think? You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Prime projections for Montreal Canadiens players. Is this a delusional take, or is it actually all right? Let me know in the comment section all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Juraj Slafkovsky, and bye.